General Hospital up here into a plateau below the airfield. And on D-Day plus 12, Kiribashi says, this is the island front line that defends our home, and I am going to die here. So 2 maps. This is an invasion day map, February 19, 1945. I bought it about 20 some years ago from a guy in Longmont that was on our trip. And it says secret, February 19, 1945. It's got all the gun emplacements in black, not red. But I want you to notice something. Do you see something different between these 2 maps? This is 1994. That's 1944 over there, and this is 94.
There's a peninsula on the left.
So look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Weird, isn't it? Okay, we'll talk about that later, but I want you to notice this on this map. So here's D-Day. This is what the Marines were able to do on D-Day. The 5th Marine Division is down here, 4th is in here, and the 3rd comes in after they move out. The 5th then moves up on Suribachi. Okay, that's where we have our famous flag raising. We have the first flag raising with Lowry taking pictures, the second flag raising with Rosenthal taking pictures, and with a movie camera like this, the movie of the flag raisings were taken. This is not one. This is one I bought online for $300, just so I could have one. And the 5th Marine Division moves up on the western side of the island, while the 4th Marine Division is moving up on the eastern side of the island, and then the 3rd Marine Division comes up through the center. Now, why are they heading for that point? They know that's where the general's headquarters are. Why? Well, you'll see. And the hospital cave that we're going to show you is up there. So that is an area where if you look at the topography of that island, you know that you can't land anything up there, and you're going to have to work your way up that way. So here's where Kiribashi's headquarters is, and you can just look at the landscape here. There's no way you're coming in on this. Okay, you've got to come in on those beachheads. So it was pretty obvious to the Marines and to the intelligence that you had to work your way up. You can see the one airstrip, the other one under construction. This is where the Dynamite landed on March 4, and they had just fixed the field on March 2nd.
That white in the foreground there is not sand. That's foam.
That's foam, yeah, that's foam.
That's surf.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're kind of,
Penetrable to a landing craft.
that's right. Let's go back here one second. So you can kind of see the topography here. You can see you've got a plateau, and this plateau kind of works its way around here, and that's why this plateau, and this is another lower level, that's why they chose to put the Army Hospital here.
Is the other end where we see the surf, that is the whole island we're looking at? We're really looking at the whole island.
You're just missing this corner here.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're looking from the north to the south to Suribachi.
Are those black dots, are those representing ships?
Those are probably ships.
Those are all ships.
Yeah,
That's where the fleet
came in.
anchored
That's right.
and offloaded, 60,000 troops.
So
All
that-
right, so this is, yeah, they didn't map out. I really tried to find out if anybody had mapped out the tunnel system, and I came upon a dead end many times, and then finally I felt like a pretty good author saying that they really never did it. But you can get the idea that the headquarters, sleeping, dining room, hospital, and then exits every which direction, but they're deep in. That's why the bombing for 72 days probably made very little difference, and most of the guys survived all that bombing.
So this area was not hot from the volcano?
Well, it was hot when we were there, and it was
Skinny underneath.
Yeah, but the
But this,
corners would be there?
but the
Underneath the whole island is high.
you read the letters of some of these guys, and they were suffering in these tunnels. They had to, and even Kiribashi's letters that I've read that he wrote home, he was miserable. I mean, it was just as I described, bats, wet, hell.
It was definitely hotter in the mountains.
Yeah.
The whole thing's a volcanic cloud spot.
So this is how you get to General Kiribashi's headquarter cave. It was open, it had some lights, but I didn't fit. I mean, that opening, by the time you start, you have to be as far down as you can get, and then there's stair steps going down. I went down as far as I could go, and then my camera steamed up. But my picture going down, there was a Marine down in there. I got this one, and when I got down to his position and started to make the turn, everything just fogged over, so I didn't get photographs. But it gets warm quick.
And the one on the left, was that, that's a pretty developed,
That's a really well-made cave, right?
yes.
Or tunnel system.
When did they build that?
When did they build that?
Yeah.
In '44, when they're building up their defenses. Kiribati flies in, if you read about him, he talks about when he flew in there, and he goes, I mean, this is horrible, but here's what we got to do, guys. And tremendous amount of work to build up these defenses.
You should point out, I think, that this is lightweight
Oh, it's
organic material that's easy to carve, right?
yeah. I mean, this is
Relatively easy.
this is off of
granite.
Sarabachi.
No, it's all mixed, it's all,
Is it public?
Yeah, it's basalt.
But it's volcanic.
It's
There's
volcanic.
Lots of air with it.
Oh, it's open. Yeah.
some
So
of
you
it has
just
more
pick away at
gas
it.
in it than other
Okay.
parts. But it wasn't easy to carve.
How could they live underground like that?
Like rats.
Well, until they were threatened, they
Yep.
didn't live under there.
Okay, so they just went under
They
the
were,
bed.
and under there preparing this
Right.
network of tunnels and
So here's a.
sleeping in tents out on the ground.
Do they have ventilation systems?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's ventilation.
They were expecting us.
Yes, very much
No
so.
kidding.
There is no harbor.
Well, they have an area called the boat something on. It's right at the end of. It's right here. It's called Boat Basin, and they did use that. I have pictures that Dad took of Japanese boats that were destroyed, but they're not
So that's
anything
where-
of substance.
So that's where the Japanese brought their soldiers and supplies in.
Probably here. And there was another boat basin somewhere over in here I saw on another map. But this East Boat Basin, I have photographs of little wooden boats. So this is a picture of one of the gun emplacements. This is my wife in the hospital cave. There was all kinds of shrines put up by the Japanese in memory of their loved ones, as well as all kinds of medical devices covered in dust and ash, and for 57 years when I was there. And we didn't touch, they said, don't touch anything in here, please. But as we walked in just not far, again, our cameras just went south on us.
Were there sake bottles? There?
Sake bottles,
Saw
yeah,
a lot of that in Saipan and Tinian.
yep.
Do you think it was because of the sulfur that the cameras didn't work so well, or no?
No, it's just the steam, the humidity and steam.
Maybe in the deep.
So I want you to look.
Sulfur.
I want you to look at this. And there's something unique about this picture and the next one. And it has to do with Iwo Jima versus Guadalcanal or Tarawa, or what is it? There's something unique here. Now look at the next picture I'm going to show you. And this is out of a Life magazine, 1945. You can see the ships, you can see everything. But there's something unique in these pictures that you didn't see in these others, yeah.
Reinforced concrete.
Boy, you are smart. So this guy notices the reinforced concrete. You're not using palm trees and anything else. You are going to defend. This is a serious, serious defense. So we're going to invest in concrete and rebar, and we're going to build this thing as a fortification like no other island that we've done.
Let's build this right.
Build it right. So these are pictures my dad took. I don't know if he propped up the skull, but probably. And then all these different defensive positions. Here's my wife on top of Sarabachi, but I want you to notice, look at how the beach looks nice and graded and smooth and not a bad place to go. This is what it looked like in 45. And they say there had been a storm, and so the sand is built up. So this is where they got bogged down immediately. The surf is right here, and it's steep, a climb out. So what you see now is nothing like what you saw on the day of the invasion in
It's
45.
literally 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It was
Yeah.
almost impossible to walk in.
That's right. So here's my dad with another guy that came along. This man brought his uncle, Leonard. Leonard was in the 5th Marine Division, and he was in Easy Company, and he was a radio operator. He was the old man in the group. He said he was 30 years old. And he went up with Lowry and Lindbergh and others, and they put the first flag up. And of course, they didn't get any notoriety because the second flag is where the picture came from with Rosenthal. But Leonard, as we're standing up on top of Sarabachi, says, I remember a great big artillery piece down there, and the Marines that we were escorting us said, it's not there. Wait. There it is. Leonard says, I think it's over this way. He said, that's it. And I have a picture, which I didn't put in, from his nephew, and Leonard sitting on that as a soldier, not now, but as a soldier. And I should have put it in.
You will.
I'll do it. So now we're going to talk, this is more storytelling, less detail. This is about the 232nd General Hospital Detachment. Dad lands on Purple Beach, somewhere over in there. I don't have the date. This is where they're headed. You can see the road that I'm mapping out here. I'm just marking for reference point. And this is where they're going to set up the 232nd General Hospital. You've got 70 doctors, what my dad's notes say. We've got 70 doctors in this group. I don't know how many beds, but I would say quite a few. And we're going to go into detail about what that looked like. So here's that same bend in the road, okay? Got it? Are you with me? Go back here. So that bend, I'm going to zoom in on it. On this 1994 map, there's the bend in the road. Here's where the hospital's going. You can see all these marks in red of gun emplacement. That all had to be cleared out. These cliffs, Dad says in his note, this is where we'd go in the evening and watch them flush out the Japanese and kill them. As well as up here, there's another cliff system up in here where you saw those airplanes pushed over the edge. And they used to go up there and they'd do the same thing.
Those Japanese didn't have any food or water after so many days.
Yeah, that's a big problem. They're coming out and trying to steal and during the night, so it was a big problem. So the 232nd is set up here. Here's an aerial photo of that. My dad then takes oh, I'm going the wrong way, I'm sorry. My dad takes a piece of paper that's very thin and overlays it, and he marks where everything is as he recalls it, okay? Wow. So he goes, oh, well, this is Wade's home. Everything he wrote in is way home. And he says, well, this is where my tent was, and here's where our ball field is, and here's where the theater is, and headquarters. So if we zoom in on this, there's my tent. So if you open that up, there's his tent.
Wow.
He lived there for a year. Okay, not too many people can say that's my tent. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? So
Corner lot.
corner lot, yeah. I think you pay more. You pay more for those. So it's his old Kentucky home. I have a picture of he and his brother there as well. But they were builders as well as surgical technicians, so they were building Quonset huts. He has directions here in the back here of how to build Quonset huts. Got the whole detail from 45. So if you look at this in detail, we have, there we go. We have the morgue here. We have the staff tents where his tent is down there. We have the theater. You can see the light. Okay. The clinics are up here. The motor pool, I have a picture coming where he's checking out a Jeep at the motor pool so they can go on a ride around the island. But you had to have a driver's license, so I have his driver's license. I told you he saved everything. Surgeries here, utilities here, mess here, labs, PX, chapel. I mean, this is a first-class place, right?
Wow.
Pharmacy, headquarters, medical wards, nurses' quarters, officers' quarters. He's also on that thing, if you want to keep going down deeper into detail, shows water treatment and on into everything.
Wow.
Oh,
If you look at this one, this is number 2 overlay at a different perspective. This is where the 147th Infantry, who stayed with them and protected them. And here's where the 90th CB group is. This is the key point. He writes in his stuff that they came down here on this curvy road and they did a lot of swimming. So here's your theater on 5th Avenue, 5th Street. I mean, in a good wind, I can see that thing taking off. Here he is checking out his Jeep, and here's his, maybe it's a learner's permit, I don't know, but he's got his permit. And you know that you're going to be gone not very long. So here's some other views from up on the cliff sides of Quonset huts and tents. Probably different stages. I wish he would have written dates on the back of, but I don't have that. Here's in surgery. My good friend Don, who's been to this place many times and just passed away this year, anesthesiologist in Boulder at 90, he would have loved this picture. Surgical wards. I mean,
That's,
first class, right?
that was clean. That was.
This is amazing. I mean, I'm just so impressed at what the Army and the Navy and the Marines and everybody can do. It's just American military organization is just unbelievable. Here's a pharmacy, another dispensary, church. Of course, you got to have a place to get a shower. Leave it to my dad to take that picture.
Hey, Gordon, just,
Yeah.
you know, that picture right there, obviously not at that point when somebody's showering, but I imagine that your dad said they had to stay armed with some sort of weapon on them at all times, right?
No,
Except,
no, not that I know. Not that I never heard that.
Because I was thinking what you were telling us about, there still being Japanese survivors that are.
Well, yeah, they're coming, but I'm sure the 147th is around this area, and they can only leave. It's probably, well, when he took the Jeep out on a ride, it was probably later on when things were very secure. But
One Japanese soldier held out until 1972.
that's right. And there was one soldier on Iwo that held out for quite some time that I read about, but I can't give you the date. Yes, sir.
how many personnel in this 232nd?
When I lecture again, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Quantico, Virginia, because the guys that I toured with, my dad, they were saying, of course, we were with all these Marines and a couple of CBs, and then we had a couple of Tommy. What was he?
He's a medic.
He was a medic, so that's Navy, right?
Yeah.
And we're going along, and they kept asking my dad, so what Marine Division? He says, I was in a hospital. And they go, there's no hospital here. And he goes, yeah, I was in the 232nd. They go, no. He pulls out pictures out of his pocket. He goes, well, here they are. And I'm going, I've never seen those. So they go, wow, I didn't know there was a hospital here. So anyway, that's why I want to share this with the Marine Corps Museum and say, this was part of what your history is. Yes, ma'am.
There were lights apparently.
Oh, yeah,
And where did they get the electricity?
they had a generating
They had
system.
generators.
Oh, okay, okay,
I mean,
okay.
this is beautiful. It's just beautiful. So if you want to build a Quonset hut, I have directions right here
Thank you.
to do that. So 1945 comes and Dad's still on the island. It's Christmas time. And everybody else is, I mean, the Marines have pulled out. They've left the 147th Infantry to protect people. Things are mopping up. They're trying to get millions of American GIs home. You know, how do you get 2 million? I don't know what's left in the Pacific, 2 million people, trying to get them back to stateside. And he's low on the list because he has no clout. I mean, he has no kids. And so he's stuck there. His twin brother gets to leave a little bit before him because his wife is pregnant. But so at Christmas time, here's the Armed Forces Mid-Pacific menu for Christmas. There it is. We're going to have turkey, dressing, butter, corn, mashed potatoes, gravy, the whole bit. And the commanding officer here says, there has never been a Christmas like this one. Isn't that the truth?
Do they offer them cigarettes or cigars afterwards? Because I've got some menus like that from my uncle who was on a ship, a Navy ship, and they would often put down their cigarettes, cigars.
Really?
Yes.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, Sea Rats always had a little pack. We were still using them in Vietnam of, I think, 4 cigarettes in a little package. They were all filterless, Chesterfield, Camel, Lucky Strike.
So what do twin brothers do between September 245 and March 346? Because that's, the war's over. I mean, Iwo Jima is secured in, March or so. Go to September, the surrender's been signed, unconditional. You hope that there's no Japanese coming out after you. So you climb into old airplanes. But what do you get? You got 6 months now to find something to do. These guys, they know what to do.
That's a B-25 or the Marine version of it.
Was it? So they built a little gymnasium where they could work out. You might as well start a business. So they started taking in laundry and built a laundromat and started doing that. Then he tells the story of they would get on the incoming ships where they're bringing food in. He and his brother would throw the canned pineapples off the truck. Later that evening, go back and collect it, and then they started an ice cream store. So these two guys, when they got home, between the two of them, they had like 4 businesses. And the one business that my dad had is still going today, called Gates Forming Systems in Denver. Gates Forming Systems in Denver. Forming. They built the baseball stadium. They did all the concrete work and those stair steps. It was a big outfit. So here's my dad. They built a raft. Now, 20-foot surfs in that little box. I don't think it's going to go too well. But anyway, they had to find something to do. And of course, you've got to go through the tunnels, rummage through all the artillery pieces, taking risks that they should not have taken, I'm sure. Other military pieces. Visit the 5th and the 3rd Marine Division cemeteries. All these bodies were exhumed and taken back. I bet I have a picture of the 4th, but I don't have the picture of the entrance of the 4th. So I have a picture, and I think it's probably taken from a different perspective. So at least he marks on those overlays, this is the way you drive to go to the 5th, and this is the way you drive to go to the 3rd and the 4th cemeteries.
Even though all the remains were repatriated to the U.S. soil, the cemeteries are still maintained by the Seabees. The Air Force flies them out in C-130s. I was in Peleliu, and they were maintaining the cemetery there. I walked up to the chief petty officer, showed him my ID card, and he popped me a nice salute, and he said, "Thank you for doing this," and he said, "It's our honor, sir."
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, all they had up were markers. This is where the third was, or this is where the fifth was and fourth was. I didn't see a landscape that was maintained, but I saw markers that were
I
maintained.
didn't see it at Iwo, I should have maybe just
Yeah.
said Palau and Peleliu.
So finally, we get medical clearance to leave Iwo Jima on February 27, 1946. Here it is. And it says here, he's free from vermin and communicable diseases. So he's good to go.
Is that parasites?
Bed bugs.
Little rat.
Yeah, and he meets the War Department immunization requirements. I have his immunization record if you'd like to see it. Transportation on aircraft is contingent upon the rendition of this certificate. So on March 3 is the date that it's stamped. So I'm assuming from that that's the day he actually left. So Iwo Jima today looks like this. Like I said, a big beach, very unlike what it was in 45. U.S. military, today the U.S. military occupied it following the surrender on September 2. We returned it in 68. You said 72. I don't know. You may be right. But anyway, this is what I got. June 26, 68. And when we were on the island, I remember hearing the people talking to some of these old Marines and saying, yeah, we gave this back to Japan. They said, well, why can't we stay longer? He said, well, it's not ours, it's Japan. And I remember them using some pretty foul words saying, why in the hell did we give this back to them? It cost us a lot to take this.
I'm gonna correct myself, I believe this is correct, 1972 was Okinawa.
Okay,
Thank you.
Why did we give it back? That makes no sense at all.
because we weren't in the business of taking land. We were in the business of winning the war. And once we had it secure and things started neutralizing with Japan, there's no reason for us to lay claim to it. And as you have seen, there's not a whole lot of value there.
Oh, no,
Picture these in perspective.
not with drones.
Well, we still have Guam.
Yeah, I don't
We
know.
got Guam in 1898 as a result of the agreement that ended the Spanish-American War.
And isn't Iwo and Okinawa are both still considered part of the Japanese home island chain?
Right here.
So territorially, they are considered part of
Yeah.
Japan.
So
Whereas
right
Guam
now-
would be part of Palau, South Pacific area.
Right.
Okay.
So this is administered by the Tokyo Metro government, as we said early on. Pretty important for that soldier to know the value.
It can be militarily important.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
well-maintained and a long runway.
it's a good runway. It's a good runway.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes.
Japanese Defense Force base. Again, the civilians were not repatriated to the island because it's just, there's too many unexploded. I have pictures of hand grenades in the grass. Because they told us, don't pick up anything. One airfield, now it's up here on the plateau. It's still volcanic and this island size is increasing. So remember the map? The two different maps?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, there you go. So look at the size of it. 1911, it was 7.8, 9, 11. It's coming up out of the ground.
So how'd they get that green stuff growing? We said before there's hardly anything
They did.
growing there.
I heard that they came in and seeded it with something. I don't know what it is, but you're right. It's green.
Did they use big machinery to level out the beaches? Or how, it just
You
did
can't.
that?
You got to let the sea do whatever it wants to do to the beach. So the average yearly uplift is about 8 inches.
Wow.
Quite interesting. So today we have the USS Iwo Jima, which is a landing helicopter deck, which I think was recently in the Caribbean. And going back to Churchill, Second World War, Volume 1, he says, President Roosevelt asked me what the war should be called. What do you think Churchill's answer was? He says, the unnecessary war. The unnecessary war. Pretty profound. Well, he said there was never a war more easy to stop than that which has just wrecked what was left of the world. So let's look at Victor Davis Hanson, who I'm a big fan of. He's a World War II historian. Well, he's a classicist. He studies war from antiquities forward. He's brilliant. From my perspective, he's brilliant. And he says, here's what I think could summarize why it's the unnecessary war. British appeasement, just think about that whole thing with Neville and Hitler and trying to, we can work together, yeah, we'll make a deal, but Hitler's lying the whole time. American isolationism, yeah, we're isolated and we still like to not get involved in wars, but you know, this is a dangerous, evil world we live in. You can't be isolated because the enemy, as I said earlier, is watching what you do and what you say. And Russian collaboration, Russia's the only one that made a deal with every Hello, hello. I'm sorry. It's amazing that we had to make a deal with Stalin, but it was totally necessary in order to contain Hitler. So I think these are interesting broad categories, but I think they speak to 660 million people need not have died to confirm that the US, Soviet Union, Great Britain were stronger than the fascist power, if not for those things. And of course, George Patton, he always has something to say. Nobody can prevent another war. There will be wars as long as our great-grandchildren live. The only thing we can do is produce longer phases of peace. And that's what we're continually doing, isn't it? So I got to go back to one thing. This. Remember that picture? Got home and I said to Dad, wow, that was quite a trip. It's 3 weeks. You know, we're Guam, Saipan, Tinian, Hawaii, Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima, you got back there. What did you like the most? I liked that. I said I could have done this trip for 10,000 instead of 18,000. He said that saved my life. He said while we were waiting for Japanese to surrender, we were training for the invasion. And he said, so we knew that we were the next to move forward. And he said, that's all I needed to see. I go, gee.
The estimates of the losses if we had invaded the home islands were estimated to be in the millions of U.S. and allied.
So now we're rewriting history and we're saying how evil we were to drop the bomb and we shouldn't have in this. So, you know, I mean, this is where it goes back to that phrase I said, it's important to study war. And you folks have been doing it for a long time. And I'm sorry I haven't been a part of it because I didn't know about it until this guy started bugging me.
Were you, I'm guessing you weren't born yet when he was here.
Oh, no. I was born in 49.
You wouldn't be here if
No,
you
no.
survived.
No. Yeah, I was born in 49.
This use, you people can correct me, this use of the atomic bomb probably prevented it from being used.
Yeah,
today.
multiple times. So anyway, I thank you for your time. I hope you have learned something. For some of you that are true academics, you maybe got a little bit, and for others, I hope a lot.
Well done, sir.
All righty. Thank you so much. We would like to present you with a coin from the Museum Gordon. It's wonderful talk. So it's one of our challenge coins there. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah.